About 2.5 years ago, I had a look at a Dojin Armored Core game called Project 6, and I absolutely loved what I was seeing, despite the game still being in alpha at the time. Fast forward to today, the game has been renamed to Omega Fenix, commenced Project 6, and has a beta test on Steam, so I had to jump in again.
コールサインは C か。ようこそアトランティス。
メアリス、シングルにしかいないはずじゃん。レッドキャスターからスターライダーへ。リカと協力してメガリスタイプを撃破してください。
I am really liking what I'm seeing here. The alpha was more of a tech demo, so to say, because it showed off the amazing mech customization and the equally amazing gameplay with only a few story elements here and there. But now, we are treated to a potentially very interesting story as well. The game takes place on a continent known as Atlantis. It's not lost, but it is very dangerous. On this continent is a mysterious mechanized force known as the Ferox. The main problem with these guys is we have no idea what they are or what they want. Are they there to protect something? Are they planning to conquer humanity? Are they the remnants of something, like an ancient civilization? We don't really know. So governments around the world came together and established IUM, a military organization tasked with containing the Ferox. The thing is, this sounds way more fancy than it actually is, because in reality, most of the people fighting for the IUM are mercenaries called irregulars, and they're really only there for a good paycheck. They're also not allowed to leave, so it kinda reminds me of Area 88 in a way, except that our main character is doing it willingly. Like, even the guy signing us up to become an irregular is like, are you sure you want to do this? Because due to operational secrecy, you're never going to see your loved ones ever again. So yeah, that's nice. As a result, the Ferox aren't the only things for fighting. We'll also be taking down other irregulars who were done taking IUM orders and decided to quit on their own terms. This is such a problem, by the way, that the IUM has a dedicated task force to deal with these deserters, also known as bandits.
ちなみに、バンディットは対イカルス戦専門の特戦隊、ソルナイトにより迅速に始末されます。あなたも変な気は起こさぬよう。話を戻します。
You know, the fact that I'm cautioned so strongly against deserting makes me wonder if that's going to be an option later on, because clearly the organization we're fighting for isn't that great, and there's potentially something bigger going on with the Ferox and the entire continent. I'm invested. The only downside with the story is that there's a lot of chatter going on throughout the mission. Like, you'll be focusing on fighting an enemy while one of your allies is explaining a pretty relevant piece of exposition to you. And believe me, the fights in this game will require your full attention. There's a ton of enemies to keep your eyes on, and the pacing is lightning fast. So it's a good thing that we've got some really tight controls here, which for the most part are identical to the ones from the alpha. Like, you'll still be boosting all over the place with controls similar to that of a third-person or first-person shooter, which is really a godsend when you're fighting this many enemies. And if you want to make things even harder, you can now choose to switch from third-person view to first-person cockpit view, and you can do so on the fly with just a single button press. I absolutely love this view for just how immersive it is, but you might have also noticed that in my gameplay footage, I'll also still have third-person view. And that is because in first person, your field of vision is of course slightly smaller than your field of vision in third person. On screen, it doesn't look like that big of a difference, but I felt like it was much easier to be overwhelmed in first person than in third person. Skill issue, I know. And this wasn't the only upgrade for the beta. Exceed Boost now feels a lot faster, flares are replaced with a rechargeable energy shield, and there's an overdrive function. By defeating enemies, intercepting missiles, or activating your shield just before impact, you will charge the overdrive meter. Once full, you can activate the system for a temporary boost in performance, and man does it feel good. Also, your machine turns red, so I feel like they definitely got some inspiration from certain Gundam systems, like the Trans Am system from 00 or the Exam system from Blue Destiny. Unfortunately though, kinda linked to this system is the Combat Assessment system. On paper, it sounds really good. By defeating enemies, you can get certain benefits. For example, repairing your hit points or faster charging of your overdrive meter. The problem lies with the implementation. As soon as you hit the requirements, the game just throws up the menu screen, interrupting the amazing fast-paced action you were just enjoying. And to make matters worse, because it just pops up in the middle of a fight, you can easily misclick because you're still clicking to fire your guns. I'd much rather pick one of these options during the briefing and then have them automatically activate during the fight, or honestly, just not having them at all. It's a good thing that I only ever saw this system during one of the missions, and hopefully it will get refined for the final release. Next up, two things that I noticed weren't changed from the alpha. The first one is extremely minor. At the beginning of the level, you'll notice that my mouse cursor is still on screen, as if it's still like in a menu or something. I need to click, and therefore waste a round of ammo, in order to get back into the game. It's no big deal, but it does feel a bit janky. Update: this was fixed in today's patch. The second one has to do with how the boosting and gravity works. When your mech is on the ground, it feels like it's really stuck to the ground. For example, when boosting over bumpy terrain, instead of boosting in like a straight line with your momentum as you'd expect, it follows every single bump. But then as soon as your mech is in the air, it has a tendency to just go straight up, even when you're pressing one of the directional buttons. And I love how you can even see this behavior in some of the post-mission screens. It just skyrockets to the top of the map. It's funny to see here, but it can be quite annoying during battle. But now, let's talk mechs. The in-universe name is an Icarus, and they're made with technology that was found in Atlantis, so yet another mysterious thing about the continent. But that doesn't really matter for now. What does matter is the customization. You can choose your Icarus's head, body, arms and legs, and then outfit it with a left arm weapon, right arm weapon, left backpack weapon, and right backpack weapon. And you can then further fine-tune these parts with options to fit your specific playstyle. For example, giving them more armor, more thrust, more ammo, faster reload times, etc, etc. To bring everything together then, you've got a nice in-depth color editor. Change things part by part, or quickly change the color scheme of your entire Icarus. In short, it's pretty much the same as the alpha, and that's a really good thing. The only differences are that the UI is slightly different, your Icarus is now inside of a hangar, and there's also more parts to choose from. Eventually, you unlock new ones after certain missions. The final thing you can do then is dueling individual Icaruses. Not only is their difficulty different, but they'll also have some different playstyles with different weaknesses for you to work around. Very useful for trying out new tactics, or for just trying out a new Icarus combination. And on top of that, you can also earn a little bit of money. So, all in all, there's quite a bit of content here for just a free beta test, which you can join on Steam right now until June 25th. The story missions, a few duels, and some minor Icarus tinkering took me about an hour to finish. But there's a lot more time you can spend with this beta if you're gonna try to beat all of the duels and, you know, have some fun modifying your Icarus, because again, there's quite a lot to do here. Look, it's a Jagan. The only thing left to say then is that I hope they can stick to a 2027 release date, because it wouldn't be the first time that the game's release got pushed back. Like when I covered it back in 2023, it was slated for a 2024 release. It's not that I don't understand it though, because this game is being developed as a passion project by like a single person, so yeah, I would rather wait longer for a good game than get a not quite so good game on time. Again, I highly recommend you to check it out on Steam, and I will of course have the link down below. Oh, and what I'll also have linked down below is the alpha version. It might be older, but it does have some content not found in the beta version, at least not at the time of recording. And since you also have to pay for the alpha, it is a way to monetarily support the developer. As always, a big thank you to the Patreon supporters. I hope everyone watching has a great day, and I'll see you all next time.